My name is Anna. I'm 28 years old, and I just became a mother for the first time. My husband Tom and I moved into his late parents' countryside home to raise our newborn daughter. It was supposed to be peaceful, but from the first night, I started hearing a lullaby drifting through the walls at midnight. And something, was standing over our baby's crib. The house was colder than it should have been. Our daughter had been born just a week earlier. I hadn't slept more than a few hours since. But on the third night, I woke to the sound of music, a soft old lullaby I didn't recognize. I tiptoed down the hallway toward the nursery. The melody seemed to float through the air, faint and distant, like it was playing on some broken music box. I reached the door. Inside, the moonlight cast shadows across the crib, and there, I swear to God, I saw someone standing over my baby. A woman, pale, still. She was humming. Her fingers brushed the edge of the blanket. I flipped on the light. Gone. Just me and my baby sound asleep. When I told Tom, he brushed it off. "You're exhausted," he said. "You probably dreamed it." But I knew what I saw. The next night, I stayed awake on purpose, curled in bed with my phone's voice recorder ready. At exactly 12:02 a.m., the music started again. I crept to the nursery. This time, the door was already ajar. The air inside was freezing. I peeked in, and there she was again, just a few feet away from the crib, humming that same lullaby. Her eyes met mine. Hollow. Sad. I hit record. She vanished. The next morning, I played the audio back. Static. No lullaby. No voice. Just my shaky breathing and the click of the door. That day, I found an old photograph buried in one of the drawers. A woman in her 30s holding a baby, dressed in vintage clothes. Tom's mother. She looked just like the woman in the nursery. When I confronted Tom, his face would pale. "My mom died giving birth to me," he said. "She was alone. She never even got to hold me. My dad never forgave himself. That lullaby, she used to sing it before she went into labor." That night, we both stayed up. We left the door open. At midnight, the lullaby started again. And this time, we saw her together. She stood by the crib, looking directly at Tom. She held out her arms like she wanted to take the baby. Her mouth didn't move, but we both heard the words in our heads. "Give her to me just for a moment." Tom stepped forward, tears in his eyes. "No," he whispered. "She belongs in this world, not yours." The ghost looked at her daughter for one long second, then vanished in a burst of cold air. We left that house the next day. I still hear the lullaby sometimes. Very faint. Usually when the baby cries at night. I think she still watches, but she's not angry. Just a mother forever reaching for the child she lost. My name's Emily. I'm 30, and my husband Mark just inherited his childhood home after his father passed. We moved in to start fresh, a new chapter. But the house he feels frozen in time, especially the antique mirror in the front hallway. It belonged to Mark's mother. She died when he was little. Now I think her reflection is still inside that mirror, watching me, waiting. The house smelled like dust and roses. Old wallpaper, tall ceilings, antique furniture, and the mirror. It stood at the end of the hallway, tall, gold-framed, elegant, and wrong. The first time I looked into it, I saw something behind me. Just a flash, like a woman's figure. But when I turned around, no one was there. I told Mark. He shrugged. That mirror belonged to my mom, he said. She loved it. Spent hours in front of it. She died when Mark was 6. He barely talked about her. Every night, I passed the mirror on the way to bed. And every night, I swore it looked different. Like my reflection smiled just a second too long. Like the eyes weren't mine. Then came the whispering. Low. Female. Always at 3 a.m. Always from the hallway. He was mine first. I searched the attic for anything, a journal, a letter, something to explain the mirror. I found an old photo album and tucked behind the pictures, a folded note in shaky handwriting. The mirror keeps what it wants, and I want him back. I ran to Mark. Told him everything. He finally broke down. She was sick, he said. She lost her grip after Dad died. She'd just stand in front of that mirror and talk. She believed it showed her the life she lost. That night, I covered the mirror with a black cloth. At 3 a.m., I woke to screaming. Mark wasn't in bed. I ran to the hallway. The cloth was on the floor. The mirror was glowing faintly, and Mark was standing in front of it, eyes glazed, whispering, I missed you, Mom. I pulled him away. But for a second, I swear I saw her inside the mirror. Her face was half rotted, her hand pressed against the glass. You stole him. I took a hammer and smashed the mirror into 1,000 shards. Mark collapsed in my arms, sobbing. The house felt lighter. But last week I saw something. A tiny shard of the mirror that I must have missed, wedged into the floorboard. In it, I saw her eyes, still watching. I'm Allison, 27. I married John last year. He inherited an old farmhouse from his family, and we moved in thinking it would be our quiet little escape. But the attic has been locked for decades. And now, every night, I hear something crying up there. A baby. And someone singing to it. We don't have children. And we're not alone. It started with the thumps. Soft. Above the ceiling. Then the crying. A baby's wail, muffled by layers of wood and insulation. Always after midnight. Are there raccoons in the attic? I asked John. He just stared at me. That attic's sealed shut, he said. No one's been in there since my mom died. When I asked how she died, he changed the subject. But I knew something was wrong. One night, I climbed the attic stairs. The door was padlocked, but the wood was old. I used a hammer. The lock broke easier than I expected. Inside, dust, cobwebs, silence, and a crib. An actual wooden crib sitting beneath the window. Still made, as if waiting. And beside it, a rocking chair, slowly moving. In the chair sat a porcelain doll, dressed in handsome clothes. Its face cracked. A music box sat beside it, softly playing. Hush, little baby. I stepped back and ran. John met me at the stairs, panic in his eyes. You weren't supposed to go in there, he said. What happened to your mom? I demanded. He sighed. She lost a baby before I was born. My sister. They said she went mad. One night she took the doll into the attic, locked herself in, and never came out. They found her dead by the crib, holding nothing. We sealed the attic again. But last night, the music started playing on its own. I locked our bedroom, Still heard the creaking of the rocking chair upstairs. Sometimes I hear her whisper through the vents. She needs her mother. I think she believes I'm the one who took her baby. And I think she wants me to give it back.